So there's definitely some things that you need to get your hands on before you start building the composting toilet. Here are the main components that we have. Good morning guys, so we are in our new barn, which is very exciting, our new workshop. As you know, we had to leave the old one behind. This one's a lot smaller, but we're so thankful to have found somewhere else that we can finish completing our van build. So we've only been in here literally a couple of days and it's a mess. We put this tarp up over the van because obviously now we've got the roof rack on and we've noticed that birds were pooing onto the roof of the van, which is never good. So yeah, that tarp is just to stop any bird poo. Over here we got our nice little desk worktop area, which is really good. And we've got everything ready to build the composting toilet today. So we've got wood glue. This is actually the wood that we're going to be using for the composting toilet. It is 12mm ply. Also, we've just been shopping for our lunch and dinner because we plan to do a whole day in the workshop. So we want to make sure that we got some nice food. So yeah, that's about it. Let's get on with it. The first thing to do is to basically build a very simple box. So our composting toilet is just going to be a box. We're going to have two containers, one for number ones, one for number twos, and we're going to have a separator, so obviously it'll be separate into the different containers. So it's a very simple setup and I'm excited to show you how we build it. So as I said, first thing to do is to build the box structure. We're using 12mm ply and I'm going to pocket hole it all together, and as you can see I've just been doing some tests to get the right distance for the pocket holes. It's a bit of a pain because I wouldn't really recommend using 12mm ply, but we have to because the size of our toilet has to be quite low to fit under our slide out drawer. So this is how we're doing it. I would have used 18mm ply if I could have got away with it, but 12mm is still going to work okay. So there's definitely some things that you need to get your hands on before you start building the composting toilet. Here are the main components that we have. The first thing we've got is the most important for a separator toilet, and it is the actual separator. And as you can see down there, it's got a filter, so it filters out any of the sawdust so the tube to the urine divider doesn't get blocked up. And then we've got the number 2 bucket. So some people just bag it and bin it. We'll probably do that. Other people will actually let this compost down. We've got a small 3.3 litre urine container. So we're going to see how that goes. We will get a bigger one eventually, but this is all we could get our hands on for now. And then we have our toilet seat. So yeah, pretty simple. But now it's time to build the actual box. So now our box is complete. Have a look inside. You can see all of the pocket holes that we've used to join it. So it's pocket holed and glued, which means it's super solid. Even though it's 12mm ply, it's not a very big box, so it means that it's very secure. So when we sit down on it, it's not going to snap in half. We got the lid here. The lid just fits on nicely, like that. And now, we just need to figure out where the toilet seat's going. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw around here. We're going to cut a hole out with the jigsaw, and that's going to be where our business falls through. And this is a fairly important part, so we're clamping it on so it can't move. But we want to make sure that the separator's in the right place, because obviously we want our number ones to go in the right place and our number twos to go in the right place. Otherwise it might get a little bit messy. So B's just drawing out the line. Perfect. So B's just marking out 1 centimetre wider of the circle that we just drew. That means that it's slightly bigger and is not the exact same size as the toilet seat, which should work perfectly. So the really weird thing is that we've been talking to all our friends about making this compost toilet and we're so excited about it. Some of them get it and some of them absolutely don't. So yeah, maybe there's not too much going on in our lives at the moment, but I can tell you that absolutely is. But yeah, we're just excited. I think this is the excitement of never emptying a chemical toilet ever again. Because you know, they fill up so quickly, and this way we never have to find a toilet emptying point ever again. Hello!
Here's Johnny!
But yeah, that's it.
Pop it on, pop it on.
Obviously all needs sanding, but we'll do that afterwards.
Yeah, to protect our butt cheeks. Put the toilet seat on. This is so exciting, people. Honestly, the excitement is legit real right now. Oh my God.
Perfect. One of the things we did do that we didn't show you is we took off all of the plastic bits that were on the toilet seat. So there was this that just kind of make it sit up a little bit more. But as I mentioned in the start of the video, our composting toilet has to be a lot lower than a standard composting toilet just because it's got a certain area it can fit into, and that's the only space we've got in the van for it. Also, we took off these plastic bits and they just went on the bottom there. Also completely pointless for what we need, so we're just going to attach the toilet seat ourselves to the plywood. But yeah, looks good.
It does.
Now it's time to stain everything before we start fixing anything to it, because it'll make it a nightmare otherwise. And we're using this satin walnut interior varnish. Hopefully it turns out looking good.
I'm going to set a time lapse up of you paint. Try not to get it on the rough side, because obviously you can't use that side, so it's a waste. Look, all the stain on your hands. Should really wear gloves.
Always wear gloves. We don't have any. What I'm going to do is, you can see how beautiful the front's looking, and that grain is really popping. So I'm just going to put one more coat over that just to make it slightly darker, because the plywood soaks up a lot of paint or stain. We'll just dab over a little bit more on the knots. That looks really nice.
So the next stage of our super simple composting toilet is to build some little wooden nodules to basically keep the lid on. What's funny?
Nodules.
So here's the lid.
Look how nice it looks.
Yes, it looks beautiful.
Take a step back. Like, it looks so nice.
Thing of beauty right here.
But yeah,
Okay, Theo, you demonstrate it.
They're basically going to go along here. So I've just cut these scrap bits of plywood I had left. Just going to put one there in each corner, and then that will stop
it sliding around.
Yeah, we're not going to have a hinge or anything. We're just going to lift it straight up.
Yeah.
We thought that was better, because if it's on a hinge and you lift it up, the urine might just go everywhere when it drips.
This thing, it makes it easier if we can lift the toilet seat straight up when we need to empty it.
It might just be a bit drippy.
Well, it's probably still going to be drippy, but it will come out easier because it'll be straight up rather than, because it's the lowest toilet ever. But we all know why. We're having it low. So yeah, let's put these little wooden nodules. Is that what I called them? Nodules.
So what we're doing here is just pre-drilling the holes. Always pre-drill if I can. Just stops any of the wood splitting. So the scrap pieces of wood are on, the little wedges. Now let's see if it works.
Wedges? I thought they were nodules.
Nodules. There we go.
Like a
Super
glove.
tight. Not going anywhere. Stoked. Right, now the fun part. We get to put the urine separator in.
Yeah!
This is the bit we've been waiting for. So yeah.
This is what turns it from being just a bucket to being a proper toilet.
Yeah, there's not much difference, but once you put this in, it really makes a difference. You want it just overlapping a little bit, so there's no mistakes.
Yeah, fits perfectly.
It's about right. So I'll mark that off with a pencil. Okay. Right, next step, I'm going to pre-drill some holes through this. So obviously when I screw through it, I don't damage it, because I think it's just made out of some sort of
plastic.
So
yeah, you can get ceramic ones of these, but obviously they're more expensive and heavier, so we went for plastic.
The whole thing with this build is we want to do it as cheaply as possible, but not look cheap and not feel cheap. So it's going to be really nice when it's finished, but it won't have cost us much more than about £50, maybe 60, but that's nothing really.
Still cheaper than our porta potty.
Yeah, cheaper than a porta potty. And if you were to buy a composting toilet from a company, you're talking, I mean, up to £1,000 for the top ones. Something more like this would probably set you back probably
100.
No, 300 to probably about £500. So yeah, it's expensive. And I will only ever do that, never again. Right.
You know what, I was worried because I accidentally ordered it in black, but with the stained dark toilet, it actually works quite nicely.
It does, yeah. We were going to get a white one, weren't we?
Yeah.
But a white one, I guess, shows up more stains in the long run. So yeah, there we go.
This is the basic principle of our composting toilet. So we will go in the front in a little bucket, and then the solids go in the back in a little bucket.
And one of the things we need to do is put a hole in here, and we're trying to figure out a way that we can kind of have it so it's almost suctioned in, so that when you're driving, obviously no urine bounces out, because that would not be fun. But yeah, we'll cover that. Maybe we'll do an update video or something, but this is pretty much done now. We're just gonna insert the containers and then we can try it out. We're not gonna show it.
Oh wow! So that fits nicely in there. It's a 3 litre container.
3.3 litre.
3.3, so that can probably fit about 4 wees in. It depends how desperate you are for the toilet. And
we're not sure if we're going to use this for number 2s and just put a bag over it, but this is a bucket and we cut it down to size. And what Bea did is she got the heat gun and just went over the edge and just kind of made the edge a lot smoother so that it doesn't rip the bags.
you do not want a ripped bag full of solids.
Not a ripped poo bag.
Trust me on that.
Right, let's see if this actually fits. So they're both fitting together.
It's just whether you can get the solids in. Oh, it's like it was meant to be.
That's alright, isn't it?
That's perfect. Oh my gosh, I'm so hyped to try this.
I told you at the start, how can we be so excited about a compost toilet? But seriously, when you've been living in a van for like 4.5 years, and you always have to find somewhere to empty them chemical toilets, it's a pain, because we could only fit a really small one in our last van, the T4, and it would only last like 2 or 3 days, and then you'd have to find somewhere to empty it, so it's just a pain. So this is going to change the game.
And I've also got a top tip for anyone who doesn't have a composting toilet and they've got a porta potty. Now, we've been described as grungy, and this is probably as grungy as it's going to get. But if you...
Thanks, David.
Yeah, thanks, David. You know who you are. If you need the toilet, but your porta potty's full and you need a solid, you can put a plastic bag.
Solid.
You need a solid. I'm calling them solids. You need a solid. You can put a plastic bag in the toilet bowl and do your solids in there and then throw it away. That's an emergency use for a porta potty, and that has saved our bacon.
Oh,
and some other people who we know, because I told them about it and they did it.
But what's with all these people that we meet up with in vans who are like, oh, we only use the toilet for number ones, no number twos. And it's like, come on, as soon as we've left, you're number two in all over that place.
All I will say is I wake up in the morning and I need a solid.
Yeah,
so.
like...
I'm not embarrassed to say it, everyone's solids.
Not having a toilet in the van, for me,
fills me with stress.
Yeah, that's horrible.
You know what, you can have a toilet as fancy as you want, you can have a bucket.
What happens if you're ill? You're ill in the van, the last thing you're going to do is at 3 a.m. go outside and dig a hole. It's just not going to happen.
In the pouring rain, somewhere, it's always good to even just have a bucket.
So
it
now
doesn't
you know,
have to be fancy, but yeah, there's so much knowledge being passed around in this video today.
So, the toilet seat is now clamped to the top of the composting toilet. And what we're going to do is, because we don't want to see any screws or anything, we want to fasten this toilet seat to the top. We are going to just screw from the underneath and hopefully that will hold. Don't see why not. So B has very cleverly made a template so that we can get our lovely new handles perfectly in the right spot. So we're just going to mark them off and then that's where we need to drill the holes. But look how cute these are. Just yeah, kind of like vintage, not real vintage, just fake.
Vintage
but
Wilco's handles.
They look really nice, yeah, from Wilco's, next to no money at all.
Cute.
Oh, it matches really nicely, doesn't it?
Vintage toilet.
And I really want to make some more, well, this is like a drawer really, isn't it? So if you pulled it out that way, it'd be like a drawer. So we're thinking about, in the future, when it comes to thinking about our garage area, I think I'm going to build some boxes like this that are kind of stacked on top of each other. So
storing things in.
Maybe our generator could go in there, stuff like that, because it's pretty simple to do. One tool that I would love to have that would make life so much easier and slightly more precise with this would be a table saw. So I might have to look into how much a table saw is, but
if anyone's got any recommendations for a good one, let us know and we'll look into it. Oh, the handles are on. Check it out.
One on each side. Feels so robust, this box.
Let's put the toilet completely together.
It's really strong.
Good. We need it to contain our solids now.
So here it is, just pull it out from under the chair, super easy access, and it's ready to use once it's lifted out of its tray. So £60, under $100, you can make one of these yourself. And if you do, send us some pictures.
Yeah, but not using it, please. And not of the solids.
And guys, if you have enjoyed the video and you're not subscribed already, please subscribe, give us a like, let us know in the comments if you've made a compost toilet, and be ready for a lot more van videos to come.
Head over to theindyproducts.com/shop and check out our new merchandise. Join us on Patreon for exclusive content, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.